Once upon a time, in a quiet little house, lived a cat named Tom and a clever little mouse named Jerry. On the outside, the house looked peaceful, but inside, every day was a battlefield between the two. Tom always dreamed of catching Jerry, and Jerry always found new ways to escape. One day, Tom and Jerry were at it again. Tom, with his green eyes gleaming with determination, was trying to catch Jerry, who was darting around the kitchen. Suddenly, Jerry stopped. He had discovered a piece of cheese in the pantry. With quick little steps, he grabbed it and darted back toward his mouse hole. Tom, who had been creeping closer, saw his chance. In an instant, he leapt from the counter and charged after him. The chase began. Jerry darted left, then right, slipping under the table. Tom slid across the floor, almost losing his balance, but he kept going. He stretched out his paw, thinking he had Jerry this time, but Jerry was too quick. With a cheeky grin, Jerry disappeared into his hole, leaving Tom to crash into the wall. Tom, rubbing his head, thought of a cleverer plan. He set up a mousetrap near Jerry's hole, carefully balancing a piece of cheese on it. He stepped back and hid behind a chair, waiting silently. Jerry peeked out. He sniffed the air and spotted the cheese. His eyes sparkled, but he was no fool. With a knowing smile, Jerry tossed a wooden spoon at the trap. Snap! The trap closed instantly. Jerry chuckled and walked away with the cheese, leaving Tom fuming with frustration, not ready to give up. Tom tried another idea. He built a giant box trap with a rope, placing cookies inside as bait. He was sure Jerry wouldn't resist this one. Tom hid in the corner, holding the rope tightly, waiting for the right moment. Jerry strolled in, pretending not to notice. He sniffed the cookies, then slowly stepped inside the box. Tom grinned and yanked the rope. The box fell finally. He had caught Jerry, but when Tom lifted the box, there was no mouse inside. Jerry had slipped out through a tiny hole in the corner, leaving Tom holding nothing but an empty trap. Jerry wasn't just clever. He loved to tease. He grabbed a frying pan from the kitchen and sneaked behind Tom. With a quick swing bong, he hit Tom on the tail. Tom jumped high in the air, yowling in pain. Jerry giggled and dashed away, his little feet tapping quickly across the floor. Frustrated but determined, Tom set up his biggest plan yet. He filled balloons with water and climbed onto the top shelf. From above, he planned to drop them on Jerry as he passed by. Jerry, however, spotted Tom's shadow on the wall. With a sly grin, Jerry tied a string to the shelf. With one pull, Jerry sent Tom tumbling down, landing flat on the floor with the water balloons bursting all around him. Now soaking wet, Tom growled and chased Jerry through the living room. They ran in circles around chairs, under tables, and up the curtains. At one point, Tom nearly caught Jerry by the tail, but Jerry swung on the curtain rope and launched himself to safety. Tom, on the other hand, came crashing down with the curtain rod wrapped around him like a tangled mess. Finally, both were exhausted. Tom sat on the floor, panting, while Jerry peeked out from his mouse hole. Jerry carried a tiny piece of cheese and placed it gently near Tom. For a brief moment, there was peace. Tom looked down at the cheese, then at Jerry. Instead of chasing him, Tom gave a small smile. Jerry smiled back, and they shared a quiet moment of friendship. But, of course, with Tom and Jerry, peace never lasts long. The moment Tom reached for the cheese, Jerry grabbed it and dashed back into his hole, laughing the whole way. Tom sighed, knowing tomorrow would bring yet another chase. And so, in that little house, the endless game of cat and mouse continued. Jerry always clever, Tom always determined, and their adventures filled every day with chaos, comedy, and laughter. Moral of the story: no matter how big or small, cleverness often wins over strength, and sometimes, even in rivalry, there is a touch of friendship. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun dailies. Your support helps us bring more stories to life. Thank you for watching. Now, let's move on to our next story. Once upon a time in a lush green forest lived a little firefly named Flicker. Unlike his siblings who loved to play hide-and-seek among the trees, Flicker was afraid of the dark. You see, fireflies light up the night with their magical glow, But Flicker's light was the dimmest of them all, and he worried that others would laugh at him if they saw. So he spent his days hiding, and his nights dreaming of a world where he could shine brightly without fear. One evening, as the sun began its descent, Flicker's mother approached him. She had a twinkle in her eye and a secret plan in her heart. "My dear Flicker," she said softly, "tonight is the night of the Firefly Festival. All the fireflies in the forest will gather and celebrate the magic of our lights." Flicker's heart raced. He wanted to join the festival, but his fear held him back. "But Mamai," he whispered, "I'm afraid my light isn't strong enough. What if the other fireflies laugh at me?" His mother nuzzled him. "Oh, Flicker, your light may be different, but it's perfect. Just the way it is. Remember, it's not the brightness that matters, but how you use it." With a gentle kiss, she flew high, leaving Flicker to ponder her words. As the first stars twinkled in the sky, Flicker knew he had to make a decision. Would he let his fear keep him from the festival? Or would he try his best to be brave? Taking a deep breath, he decided to go. With his light flickering nervously, Flicker flew toward the sound of laughter and music. As he approached the clearing where the festival was being held, he saw hundreds of fireflies, their lights shining in all colors and sizes. There were flashes of red, yellow, blue, and green, creating a breathtaking display of light and color. Suddenly, a group of fireflies noticed Flicker. Their lights dimmed in what seemed like a sudden game of hide-and-seek. They snickered and teased. "Look at the little firefly with the shaky light. Come on out, Flicker." "We won't bite," they called out, their voices dripping with sarcasm. Fear threatened to overwhelm Flicker, but he remembered his mother's words. Taking a deep breath, he focused on the light inside him. It wasn't the brightest, but it was his, and he could control it. Slowly, he began to glow. Not brightly, but steadily. As the other fireflies watched, something amazing happened. Flicker's steady glow began to affect them. Their laughter faded away, and their teasing stopped. One by one, they started dimming their lights until they were barely visible. At first, Flicker was confused, but then he understood. His steady glow was helping them play a different game. They weren't playing hide-and-seek anymore. They were playing hide-and-glow. With renewed confidence, Flicker joined in, his light flickering in a friendly rhythm with the others. They danced and played, their lights weaving together in a beautiful pattern. The once teasing fireflies apologized for their behavior. "We're sorry we made fun of you, Flicker," they said. "Your light is special. It helps us all shine in a different way." Flicker's heart soared. He realized that his mother was right. It wasn't the brightness of his light that mattered, but how he used it. As the night went on, Flicker became the center of attention. Other fireflies, young and old, gathered around him, their lights flickering in admiration. He had become the most important firefly at the festival, not because of his bright light, but because of his unique glow. From that night on, Flicker was no longer afraid of the dark. He had discovered that true bravery wasn't about being the strongest or the brightest, but about facing your fears and helping others in the process. And so, Flicker the firefly continued to shine his steady, unassuming light, reminding everyone in the forest that even the dimmest glow can make the biggest difference. Moral of the story: don't let your fears hold you back. Embrace what makes you unique, and you might just find that it's your greatest strength. If you liked this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, let us know what you think about the story in the comments below. We love hearing from you guys, and if you haven't already, don't forget to share our stories with your friends and family. Thanks for watching.